Since today's video is a bit long, I've made a timeline so you can skip to whatever part you like. And with that said, I was actually feeling a bit uninspired this week, so instead of forcing myself to do something I wouldn't enjoy, I chose to paint a model I just liked. And to be honest, there probably won't be any new lessons on this video I haven't covered before, but I hope you still find it useful. To begin with, I base coated every part of the model with its corresponding color, even though gluing it to the base only made it harder to reach some parts. Lately I've been skipping this part of my paint job since there's nothing special about it, but as a general reminder, it is always best to apply 2 thin coats of paint in order to achieve full opacity than a single thick coat, so as to avoid clogging any details with paint. You will also find the paint process to be smoother this way. To paint the finer details, it is half a matter of skill and half a matter of preparation. I always make sure to work the paint into my brush from all sides, and then twist and pull to form a fine tip, at the same time discharging any excess paint so as to have just the right amount to where it won't be floating out of my brush into the recesses. Having applied the corresponding base coats, the model is more readable, but still a bit blocky, so to better differentiate each element from one another, I grabbed a couple of dark tones, diluted them with water in a 2:1 ratio and applied them in a manner of a wash. While diluted acrylics won't give me the same result as proper washes, they do provide me with more color variety, as well as being a cheaper option. And since I plan to work up the highlights, whether I use one or the other won't really matter much. You'll note that on the rock I'm letting the dark grey mix with some browns and greens. If you haven't already, start adding color to your rocks. It will look more realistic compared to just using greys and whites. Once dry, while I don't have super defined shadows, now the base color can be used once again as a first highlight. For some details, I'll be using the side of my brush to do the work for me. Placing it this way will make it so that I can only catch the raised details. In order to prevent desaturating my colors too much, I used ice yellow instead of white for the rest of the highlights. Initially coating the raised details and upper facing parts with the base color, followed by 1 or 2 passes of the lighter mix, to which I increasingly added small amounts of ice yellow. To paint the cape, I followed the same steps I showed on my black cloth tutorial from a couple of weeks ago, but this time I didn't bother with the blending. I'll link the original video above if you wish to watch it as well. This time I am just doing horizontal lines along the folds, and as I go brighter with my color, I also shorten the highlights. I left this part of the footage in its original speed so you can see that as long as you have a good grip on your model and you keep a cohesive motion of the wrist, this process won't take too much time. The dilution of the paint is the same as to when I was base coating. This will allow it to flow freely from my brush, and it is why as it dries you'll see it darken down a bit. And so it is time to paint the face. I am following the same steps as on all of my face painting tutorials, but this time using actual skin tones instead of mixing them myself. The highlights will be focused over on the nose, cheekbones, upper lip, jawline and chin. I am slowly incorporating lighter tones into the general mix and not creating huge jumps in color. This way, as I slowly reduce the area of highlights, I'll get a natural transition, without the need of washing or glazing. For the hair, I just did a bit of overbrushing, and as I mixed lighter and lighter tones, focus only on the top part, kind of in the shape of a halo, leaving the middle hairline a bit darker. Over on the eyes, I'm using the same brown which I base coated the hair with, and I turn the model around so my brush is pointed towards the nose, so nothing is on the way. By starting from a dark tone, as I do the same in a reduced area with an off-white, the thin lining around will both frame the eye and work as eyelashes. It is very important, since we're working with a small amount of paint which will dry fast, to rinse your brush and snatch new fresh paint as you move from eye to eye. Instead of the usual black pupil, I use dark blue, to represent both the pupil and the iris, for a more colorful result. Try not to have your brush rest on the cheek as you trace down, in order to minimize the chance of a mistake. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you found the video useful or entertaining enough. Special thanks to my patrons Kaab, Cedric, Alex Amoses and Moradin. As of now, I am working on an update of my all washing tutorial for next week, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you do to not miss out. But that is all for today. Hope to see you again next week.